Hi, my name is Ron Greenwald, and this is my business partner, Patty Gerke. And we wanted to take this time to first thank everybody for the tremendous support we continue to have with our program, Senior Stay or Go. And we also wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about what Patty and I do for our income during the day, other than we do a lot of senior advocacy, but we are also real estate agents here in San Diego County, working mainly and focused mainly on working with seniors and their families in terms of when it may become time to move mom or dad to a senior community or to downsize them from their home that they lived in for 40 or 50 years. And it's a very emotional process. And we really take pride in the work that we do in helping and supporting our seniors here in San Diego County. So the first question that comes up to us all the time, and I want to ask Patty to answer this, is when do you think is a good time to consult with a real estate agent or a realtor when you're maybe considering a change?
Well, earlier rather than later, because a lot of times, unfortunately, most of our seniors want to stay at home. So the saying is, you'll get me out of here in a pine box. But the truth is to have the conversation sooner rather than later, if for no other reason than to make the home they're in safer. So as Ron mentioned, we advocate and educate on behalf of seniors and their family members all the time. And one of the things we do is work with interior designers who specialize in working with seniors and making their homes safe. And it's little things, it's not big things a lot of times that make a huge difference, because you don't want to make big changes. Big changes are hard for them to adapt to. But something as simple as making sure all the light bulbs are working so that they're not trying to get around in a dark space, making sure there aren't any cords that they can trip over or area rugs that they can trip over. Just little simple things like that. So if they're going to stay in their home, they're going to stay there safely, and at least explore the options that are there. So many times families are forced to make a decision when an event occurs, and it's traumatic and it's immediate. And the truth is in today's environment, as the baby boomers age, there are more and more people who are anticipating and being proactive and moving into senior communities. So a lot of communities have waiting lists. So when you are ready, or you need to be ready because of an incident, where you want to be may not be available. So it's important, I think, to get out and see what's out there, see what fits your needs at the moment or what you feel most comfortable with, have meals, meet the people in the community, and then get your name on the waiting list. You can always, when they call you and say, we have something available, you can always say, you know what, I'm not ready, keep me on the list. But it's better to be proactive than reactive.
And that's so true. I mean, it could be a 5 to 10 year process for some people. I mean, and one of the things that we are really adamant about is as people age, we see a lot of deferred maintenance take over the home. Whether they see the deferred maintenance or they don't have the energy to deal with it, they don't have the capacity, some people don't have the capacity to deal with it. And that's really something that we really want to get the family involved with. We want to get what team is surrounding these folks in terms of who is their estate planning attorney, who is their financial advisor, who's really behind supporting this family. Because the beauty of what Patty and I do is we're actually out there visiting with these folks. A lot of the other professionals,
you go to
their office. So we have worked with some seniors 4 to 5 years in making sure before they made that commitment to a change, whether it was downsizing or to a senior community, we would visit them periodically and just help them with safety features within their home. So it's never too early or it can be too late, but it's never really too early just to understand what's out there. And you can make it a fun process. And one of the other things is more and more people are going, I have all of this
stuff.
So talk about that a little bit.
What do we do with all the personal stuff? And it's not even things necessarily that have any financial significance. They could be things as simple as a little gadget that you played with as a child. For me personally, that happened when my grandmother passed away. And it had no financial significance at all, honestly. But it was something that we played with as children, and it was really important to us, and it had a lot of sentimental value. And so many times, people will say, oh, nobody will want any of my stuff, and they'll be very surprised at what people do want, just a little memento or just something to keep in remembrance of somebody who was special in their life. So that's really important as well. And I think people underestimate that sometimes.
And what Patty and I really want everybody to understand is that we really do have the ability to refer you to the leaders in the community that are focused in on whatever area you may need support in.
And assistance.
And assistance. So, I mean, and there's all these terms out there of age, what are they, not geriatric care managers anymore, they're called aging life specialists.
Yes.
I mean, it's aging life specialists, senior move managers, estate sales people, all of these areas that really can make your life so much more pleasant and comfortable when you have a team around you that's doing right for the senior.
Because it is a process. Moving, period, anytime you move is a process. So if you take it in baby steps because you're proactive instead of reactive, it actually makes it a better experience.
So when it comes back to the question is when is the right time to call us, we'll come out and visit anytime.
Pretty much.
and give you our feedback as to what are some of the options, and then it's up to you to take it from there.
Exactly. Even just making sure that the smoke detectors in the house are working and there's a carbon monoxide detector in the home. Just safety issues.
A lot of little things will get overlooked, and sometimes it doesn't work when the children are telling the parents what to do. So we can be your third party eyes and ears. Spokesperson. where we love doing it because we have made a lot of improvements in people's lives just with little changes in the way they walk around the house.
Exactly.
So that answers the question. Thank you, Patty.
Well, the other question is, of course, we have situations where the parents have passed away or a loved one has passed away, and the successor trustee, children, whoever it may be, family member, family friend, is left with getting a phone call saying, guess what? You're in charge of this person's estate. So now what do you do? And that's very different when mom or dad are still living in their home and you're trying to make them safe or assist them in downsizing or moving to a senior community.
Yeah.
So how is that different?
Oh, they're both highly charged, they're both highly emotional, but obviously we're dealing with someone who's passed away, and we're dealing usually with the children or even the grandchildren of that person who's passed away. So it's a very emotional time for the family, and a lot of times everything is just left in that house and nothing's been touched. And again, if the family's all on the same page, then that's one area. If the family is not all on the same page, which is about a 50-50, you have to be very careful with the personal property. So a lot of times Patty and I will be asked to, I know this sounds, we'll just have to tell it like it is, we have to go and change the locks on the home so that one of the heirs is not in there taking all the personal property without authority. So it's being a successor trustee is a very, very time-consuming, big job. It's filled with pitfalls about fiduciary responsibility, money accounting, property accounting. And so again, how does that impact us is that we're part of that overall process. So we have to be very aware of who's in charge. And are you really in charge? You may think you're in charge, but no, this paperwork doesn't give you authority to do squat. So
was there even a trust, or is the property now in probate?
Right.
Does it need to go to court?
Right. So a lot of time we have comments where the children have called the neighbor who happens to be a real estate agent who has no understanding of the process, and they put the home on the market to find out the home was not in a trust, that it has to go through a probate process, and yet you really can't sell that home. And then in terms of the personal property, what Patty and I do is we will project manage the process, again, of the distribution of personal property. Selling the real estate is one thing. The distribution of the personal property is a whole another area of what we will help the family do. So that's a big change. Getting the home ready for sale. Does the family want to, spruce up the home a little bit so that they can
Does it need it?
Does it need it? Do they want to do it? Is there income to do it? What is the cost to do it? And again, many times the children don't want to take on that role for emotional reasons, for they don't live in San Diego, whatever the case may be, busy schedules. So we project manage it. We obviously don't actually physically do the work, but we know the people.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, we've done a few vacuum jobs. So it's meeting meeting expectations. I mean, we've had situations where there's multiple children who have multiple spouses, and everybody wants to be part of this process. And Patty and I are really experts in bringing the open communications and the open dialogue as to what to do.
And everybody on board.
Yeah, what would you add to that?
Pretty much just communication is key, so that no one feels like they're being left out or decisions are being made without their consideration. I think that's the real key.
Yeah, it's a very process that takes a lot of time in the sense of patience and encouragement
And
understanding to do what's right for the family. Because again, they've lost their mom, they've lost their dad, they've lost a loved one, and we are very sensitive to that space and the sense of we don't go in, hey, great, let's sell the house. We're going to go, well, what is it that you want to accomplish here before we think about selling the house? So what else?
I think that pretty much covers it. Just ask the right questions, understand the situation, understand the emotions, and understand that it's a process for everybody, and everybody processes at a different rate and in a different way. So you just have to be very aware.
And that is Ron Greenwald and Patty Gerke with Senior Stay or Go, and we really appreciate you taking the time to listen to our advocacy on behalf of seniors.